For better or worse, in richer and in poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. I wonder how many of us who actually understood what those words really mean would vow this before God and to our new spouse. My husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2009. My first reaction was, oh, that's just a little shaky, no big deal. Oh, how little I knew then. Parkinson's disease affects each person differently. Tremors, cognitive issues such as dementia, inability to walk, talk, or care for themselves, being bedridden, incontinent, turning into a shell of who they once were, becoming a different person. All of these and more can happen to all and will happen to some. This disease not only affects the person who has it, but their families and friends as well. I'm going to discuss the effect it takes on their marriage. You have a wonderful marriage. It isn't perfect, and I don't believe any are, but it is very good. You love each other very much and can't imagine your life without him. Then Parkinson's rears its ugly head, and your world falls apart. The life you had is slowly taken from you bit by bit. At first, it is a slow progression. Maybe he has a stooped posture and shuffling gait. His voice gets lower as the mumbling gets worse. The medicine he takes to control the symptoms loses its effectiveness. Sometimes they don't work at all. Other times they work, but far less time than they are supposed to. This leads to higher and more frequent doses. The medicine itself causes dyskinesias, which are involuntary body movement, and hallucinations, and perhaps compulsion disorders such as gambling or sexual addiction. Slowly but surely the progression picks up pace. More off time when the medicine doesn't work. Personality changes so drastic you no longer see the man you married. Dyskinesia is so violent he can't sit still, head and body twisting and turning, face grimacing. It's horrible to watch. You go from a loving wife to an overworked, resentful caregiver. Some days it gets so bad you feel like screaming. Some days you do scream. You say the most horrible, hurtful things to the man you vowed to love and cherish. Remember, in sickness and in health? Now you feel riddled with guilt. My God, how could I think those things, let alone say them? Please, God, forgive me. You ask your husband to forgive you too, but he doesn't even remember what you said. Maybe that's for the best. Or maybe even worse, he does remember, and he says, it's okay, I understand. Your husband has become your patient. You no longer have a helpmate as God intended. No more are you equal partners. He has become demanding and seems to believe the world revolves around him and his needs. Can you imagine changing your spouse's diapers? He now wears one 24 hours a day. Putting a catheter and urine bag on him every night, dumping the bag and removing the catheter every morning, making sure the medicine is given in the correct dose and the correct pills on time every 2 hours. How would you feel if you were responsible for every decision, getting everything that needs done taken care of, making and keeping track of endless doctor's appointments, making sure he gets there on time? He needs help dressing, getting in and out of bed, getting into and out of a chair, getting onto and off the toilet. He can no longer walk. You are the sole driver. At first, maybe it was because he was having anxiety attacks caused by the Parkinson's drugs and didn't want to drive. But now it's because it's not safe for him to drive due to excessive sleepiness and very slow reaction time. Oh yes, that's the Parkinson's again. He is incapable of taking care of himself or even his most basic needs. Everything that he was once responsible for is now on your shoulders. His care is your entire focus, your entire life. Everything we take for granted and do for ourselves, you must now do for him. You sleep in separate beds in different rooms, maybe because of the kicking, jumping, and swinging arms and legs, and the screams in the night due to the REM sleep disorder and sleep apnea, both caused by Parkinson's. Perhaps it's because he wears a catheter at night, because without it he wets the bed, and if it comes off in the night, he wets the bed anyway. Maybe he has to be in a hospital bed that you can lower so you can get him in and out of it, or it's so the rails keep him from falling out of it. It has taken your hopes and dreams and made them impossible to obtain. It has stolen most of your friends because they don't come around anymore, because they can't handle seeing what it has done to their friend. Everyone in your family all look at him differently, and why wouldn't they? He isn't the same person in a very real way. There is a saying that one of the hardest things you will ever do is to grieve the loss of someone who is still alive. You understand that so well because for spouses of someone with Parkinson's, it is exactly what we are doing. Your marriage is now in name only. Parkinson's disease has destroyed your feelings for him. You no longer feel for him as a wife feels for her husband. You still have feelings for him, but they aren't as definable. You miss your husband so much. You miss his hugs and his smile. You miss his laugh. You miss just sitting and talking or putting your head on his shoulder. You miss the love you shared. You miss your partner, your helper, your friend. You miss your life, your lives. You are living with a complete stranger who doesn't even realize how profoundly he has changed. Yes, he sees the physical changes, but not the emotional or intellectual changes. This disease steals everything from the person with it. The only thing it doesn't directly take is their life, because it steals their ability to do everything, but it's not fatal. It is incurable, and often choking or falling or something else that it caused will result in death, but no one dies of Parkinson's. Well, more accurately stated, no one physically dies of Parkinson's. But mentally, emotionally, intellectually, yes, all of these things die from Parkinson's disease. It causes devastation for the spouse who must stand by and watch her husband be destroyed from the inside because his own brain has betrayed him. So you see, Parkinson's disease is so much more than shaking and trembling. I sincerely hope that this has helped anyone who sees it have a better understanding of Parkinson's disease. Thank you for your time and attention.